Well, I'll tell you what, this is a blunder that could definitely escalate situations in the region pretty quickly. Now we're involving several different nations, all because of what appears to be, and I say appear because the international community is still doing their investigation, but evidence does appear to be that, yes, Iran shot down the Ukraine airliner, killing all 176 souls aboard. And it does appear that it was a mistake. Iran had just launched missiles at bases that were housing U.S. Citizens. So right after the attacks, the Iranian government had put all of their anti-aircraft batteries on high alert, stating that they were expecting a U.S. retaliation at airports. So it does appear that some person had the itchy trigger finger and anxiety and whatnot, as these situations tend to brew, and accidentally shot down the Ukrainian jetliner. Wow, could you imagine how that guy feels? The guy who gave the command, or the guy who pulled the trigger, and whew. Let's hope it doesn't escalate, but possible. From BBC, you can find it on several different sites. Iran mistakenly shot down Ukrainian jet. U.S. media. Also, the Ukrainian media is reporting that they believe that it was shot down by a missile as well, and they'd been investigating it for a while as a missile strike. Anyways, Iran mistakenly shot down the Ukrainian plane that crashed on Wednesday near Tehran with 176 people on board, U.S. media reports. And they are not going to hand over the black box, which international aviation law or rules, I guess, say that they don't have to. U.S. officials say they believe the Ukrainian International Airlines Boeing 737-800 was hit by a missile, CBS says. Ukraine earlier said it was examining whether a missile strike brought down the aircraft, but Iran ruled this out. Iran had said more specifically, don't jump to conclusions, is what they had said. The crash came just hours after Iran carried out missile strikes on 2 air bases housing U.S. forces in Iraq. And they were expecting, because of that attack, they were highly expecting a very quick and divisive attack from the United States. They had put their anti-aircraft batteries on high alert, stating they believed that there would be an attack on an airport. So everybody was on edge. CBS News quoted U.S. intelligence sources, and this is the part that kind of says, yeah, it really looks bad for Iran, as saying a satellite detected infrared blips of 2 missile launches, followed by another blip of an explosion. So it appears that they saw the explosive acceleration of 2 missiles on radar, and then the explosion of the plane being hit by 1 or 2 missiles. Everything kind of points towards Iran accidentally doing this. I believe Iran's best bet, if they did do it, is to own up to it and say, look, let's use this to de-escalate things. Things have gotten out of hand. They've gotten out of control. Let's de-escalate this. Let's not make this something more than it is. Meanwhile, Newsweek quoted a Pentagon and senior U.S. intelligence official, as well as an Iraqi intelligence official, as saying they believed the Ukraine plane was hit by a Russian-made Tor missile. The Tor missile, I believe, by NATO is called the Gauntlet. It's a very decent anti-air device. U.S. President Donald Trump said on Thursday he had suspicions about what happened to the plane. Amid tensions heightened by the U.S. killing of Qasem Soleimani on the 3rd of January, Iran has said it will not hand over the recovered black box flight recorders to Boeing, the plane's manufacturer, or to the U.S., or anybody involved in the U.S. for that matter, they said. And like I said, under global aviation rules, Iran has the right to lead the investigation. But typically, manufacturers are involved. You want the manufacturer involved. They know more about the plane than anybody. They built it. it's Iran playing their power hand. You know, the rules say we can do this, so we're going to do it. We're going to take the lead. Of course, they want to take the lead. It doesn't look good, though. It really doesn't. And my God, could you imagine being a part of that anti-air crew that launched that missile, and then finding out that it was all civilians, and it was civilians from many different countries. Some of them are your allies, and some of them have nothing to do with anything. What does the U.S. media report? Well, Iraqi media is also reporting that they believe it was a missile strike too. In separate reports, CBS News and Newsweek said U.S. and Iraqi intelligence officials were confident the Ukraine plane was brought down by a missile fired by Iran. And the evidence appears so. CBS published a brief report on Twitter. It said this information was based upon U.S. intelligence, which sources said picked up signals of a radar being turned on. U.S. satellites also reportedly detected 2 missiles launched shortly before the Ukrainian plane exploded. I'm not going to say definitively, absolutely 100% that it was a missile strike by Iran that brought down the civilian jetliner, but all evidence right now does appear to be pointing in that direction. Your opinion is obviously very valid in situations like this. Do you see a different perspective? Do you hear different reports? What do you hear? What do you believe? Could it still be engine failure? I highly doubt it. There's a report of from a airliner pilot's perspective, and the airliner pilot said no. In my perspective, I don't believe that was engine failure of any sort. And as they said, they believe it was a Tor M1 surface-to-air missile system. That is the Gauntlet then. Yes, that's the Gauntlet. 2 Pentagon officials assessed that the incident was accidental, Newsweek added. And I'm sure it was. I have no doubt in their mind that it was mistaken identity. Nobody targeted a civilian airliner on purpose. It was just they were put on high alert. They had just made an attack. Trump had made these quotes that if you attack us, we're going to attack you. We've got 52 sites. They were put on high alert. They're itchy. They're, they believed they were doing the right thing. That's the thing about conflict. Each side believes that they're doing the right thing. So who's right? Which side is right? Well, it depends on which side you believe in, quite honestly. Trump, did they make a couple comments? Meanwhile, when asked what he thought had happened to the plane, President Trump answered, "I have my suspicions. It's a tragic thing when I see that. It's a tragic thing. But somebody could have made a mistake on the other side," which seems quite right. Some people say it was mechanical. I don't think that's even a question, personally. So we'll see what happens. Something very terrible happened. Very devastating, Mr. Trump said. Yep. And it involves so many different countries and so many different aspects now. It just complicates the entire regional conflict. And it could possibly escalate things. Hopefully everybody looks at it as a tragic mistake. We understand. Hopefully if it is, Iran owns up to it and says, look, it was a mistake. We need to stand down. Look how bad this is. Let's everybody back off. We know other countries are involved. That's going to definitely complicate things, but we will see how it plays out. Right now, I don't know. As of recording of this, Trump is making a speech. I'm sure the uploading process will kill me because it takes hours for me to upload one video to try to get it to reach as many people as possible. But you can help with that with some sort of engagement. A thumbs up, a thumbs down, a like, a subscribe, whatever you want. But you guys are worth being informed and hearing dissenting opinions. And my opinion on this is, yeah, the evidence points towards Iran accidentally shooting down this airliner. It had Canadians aboard, it had Ukrainians aboard, and it had people from all over the world aboard. We'll see what happens. I will see you guys on the next one.